will be kicking us off in round 13.
Yep, so much to look forward to here, and really exciting times. We're starting to see the creme de la creme of the Lille Regional Championships.
That's like what you did there. That's a French saying.
You throw me completely.
The creme de la creme of comments about the event as well. So, yeah, just getting here started up. I mean, this is one of those things as well, is the feature table is something we've spoken about a little bit, and the experience on there. You know, Öjvind has already been up here yesterday, round 4, I think it was, we got to see him, maybe round 5. He's hopefully got some sleep now. Yeah. Having to drive here overnight because cancelled flight, so didn't have much sleep yesterday, which is why he went for the Mew VMAX. Do you know what deck he was going to play if he didn't switch to Mew VMAX?
Enlighten me.
He was going to play Gardevoir because he thought Gardevoir was the best deck, but he didn't want to play it when he was feeling tired, so he leaned into a deck that he was more familiar with, which he's now playing here, Mew VMAX. So very familiar with the opponent's deck might help him out a little bit. Yeah, definitely, and does look a little bit more sprightly than yesterday, in all honesty, which is great to see. It's someone I've had the chance to play against in previous seasons as well. But like I said, Dario on the right-hand side playing what Öjvind has actually said he considers is the best deck. Well, the deck he would love to play, but it's quite a hard deck to master. There's a lot of actions have to be played. The time management of the deck can also be quite a challenge, which is why we've seen Gardevoir struggle in the past sometimes. A lot of draws, hard to convert. And I think one thing that's really key here is Dario himself is familiar with this particular matchup because his brother is a Mew VMAX player. So I wonder if he's got a particular route there that he's planned ahead for. But Mew VMAX, not a deck you would plan ahead for coming into the tournament. Yeah, no, definitely. Everyone seems to try and just tech it every so often, as we do see both players now setting out their prizes. Do we see anything interesting at this stage? Some Pokemon on the right side that could be vital. The Avery is an early disruptor for Öjvind, could be key, but Dario, definitely the Mew might be that card where your first search is, I'm going to go get a Mew now, and if it's not there, it can completely change your game plan. So going first here, Öjvind kicking off round 13 with a Mew in the active. Yeah, definitely another card to highlight. That Svinhufvud we kind of spoken about a little bit, also in the prizes with Dario, but does play the second copy, so regardless of whether he can take that prize there, will be able to still utilize that fantastic attack it has. But as you mentioned, Öjvind kicking things off just with that feather ball there, just double checking the prizes. I don't think there was anything too crazy on his side at all. So we'll be able to utilize his own game plan, maybe go through those single prizes himself and just start applying pressure as soon as possible. Yeah, the first turn for Mew VMAX can be such a key turn. We see a lot of options in there to go wide for the Mew VMAX in the hand, but being able to get as many fusion Pokemon down to increase that Fusion Strike system's effectiveness is key. There was a Genesect in hand and a Forest Seal Stone. Ideally, you want to keep that Forest Seal Stone for the later game, where you can find exactly what you need, but right now it might be required to get a VIP pass off that. Yeah, it's something many often has 2 Genesects in hand, in fact, and plenty of cards to play down, so we'll be drawing up to 4, so 2 cards gained here. Does look like a Mew VMAX was drawn there. Nothing playable, so it's the option of that Forest Sealstone. There was the power tablets. You tend to want to try and keep them for the knockout and the Gardevoir EX. You know, we saw Pedro back at EUIC showing how important it was to hold all those power tablets to get that big knockout. Typically takes the 4, can take just the 3 if you've got damage modifiers, or if you're using the fusion energy, if there's damage on the Gardevoir EX. There's all sorts of iterations of it, but sometimes you need all 4, so playing them to thin in the early game can be quite risky for that reason. Ice Cube and Meloetta hitting the board now. More draw from Fusion Strike system. Ooh, interesting. So the Path in hand, unlike the double turbo energy build, Path in a much lower count here, just the 1 in the deck, I believe. So not going to want to just slam that down at any given moment. Want to keep that for that perfect turn where it's going to be the most effective. Yeah, the most disruptive turn possible for Öjvind. But it's just a pass over for the time being, knowing Dario will not really be able to do too much beyond start setting up their board. Dario opening with the strongest card in the deck, turn 1. That Battle VIP pass. Very good. But no Mew, so can't switch into a Mew to find more Pokemon. But if there's an energy in hand, you already can start that draw power with Radiant Greninja.
I wonder with a lot of players, knowing Öjvind has been on stream already once, you get a bit of insight if you do get a chance to watch back some of the stream. But does Dario know that there's an Avery hidden somewhere in there?
Maybe, yeah, play around it.
Sometimes that Mew, if it gets in the active spot with an Avery, is not the most ideal card to have there, having to sometimes give up more useful Pokemon in the mid to late game.
Very true. As the Mirage Step Curlier is available, so if there's only one routes or two routes left at the end of the turn, maybe going wide with the Refinement Curlier through that method could be key.
Yeah. Generally, loads of time for Dario to be able to maneuver to the stage where he can get a load of energy into the discard. As we do see double Fog Crystal come down as well. Those routes are just going to be flooding the board, not in the Chen-Pao sense, but ready to go and start drawing as many cards as possible.
I mean, that's the dream start, isn't it? Get 4 routes in play. There is one Refinement Curlier in the prizes, but with the rare candy, you can skip that Curlier and go straight into the Gardevoir you need. So all 4 of them in play. You can even let that one in the active get knocked out and not be too worried. So this is a excellent start here, and an Iono too to help with that potential disruption.
Yeah, opportunity to just poke for 10 if necessary, but whether it's that important, probably not.
Maybe putting the Greninja in the active might be part of that plan.
Yeah, and then Öjvind will be looking maybe to start utilizing things like the Ice Cube to maybe cause havoc on Dario's side of the board. But there's Iono here, drawing quite a few good cards there. Nothing he needs to play necessarily. Just a teleportation burst, I believe, for 10 into another route.
Also getting energy on routes early can help you reach that knockout on the new VMAX with a Gardevoir. Because sometimes if you don't have access to the reversal energy, you have to have a few attached naturally or through the Shiny Arcana. But yeah, that Iono actually put a lot of useful resources that Öjvind didn't want now onto the bottom of his deck. So I think he'll actually be quite happy to have seen that Iono. One of those useful resources, and Alyssa Sparkle, has gone straight to his hand, but it did get rid of a Mew VMAX, so he's going to have to try and find a way to get access to that if it's not in the hand already. So we can start thinking about attacking with either the Ice Cube's attack from the Mew VMAX, or maybe even look to put the Meloetta into the active.
Yeah, I agreed. With this scenario as well, there was that Fusion Strike energy that was also in hand. So by putting it to the bottom of the deck, also allows Alyssa Sparkle to maybe get more value from that perspective. As we do see a switch card, the healing of the 10 damage.
Goodbye.
There's the Mew VMAX already in hand, evolving up as well. Genesect for 2.
There's some Battle VIP passes in that hand that I'm sure he wants to get rid of, either through the Cramomatic or through an Ultra Ball.
There's the Ice Cube attack. Is it Block Slider?
Block Slider. I think so, yeah, you've nailed that.
Yeah, 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each fusion energy attached.
Interesting he went for the energyless one, so thinking energy in the discard would open up a Zacian attack.
I think in terms of this matchup, often what you see with Gardevoir is you probably want to try and utilize Gardevoir with the Shining Arcana ability to attack and take the first knockout, because then you can utilize reversal energy, because often you're already behind using Brainwave instead of Storm Slash, and then in the latter turns with that HP that the Zacian V has, you don't need to worry about the reversal energy having to be needed to stretch for a massive KO.
Yeah, we'll see where that future route comes into play, whether it will be through the Shiny Arcana Gardevoir. That reversal there, you know, a rare candy or 2 could put you into a good spot, but there's no rush. As we mentioned before, 2 Mew VMAX knockouts will win you the game, so you don't need to worry about getting anything too early. As long as they're only getting 1 prize per turn, which is the limit for Mew VMAX, as long as you put no 2 prizes in play, you've got a little bit of time to play with.
Yeah, not too many hand disruption cards from Öjvind's list. Obviously having to fit in the Alyssa Sparkle package as well. So only the 1 Judge and the 1 Roxanne. Roxanne not yet activated until maybe one of those Mew VMAXs are knocked out.
And that's where that path that we spoke about earlier could be a great combination piece. The disruption has to hit everything at once when you're playing the Fusion Mew, because you have such limited resources on what you can disrupt with. So we'll see how it all pans out. But at this stage, a knockout every turn is all Öjvind is going to ask for. On the other side, Dario is going to try and build up a rigid board state, as many routes, curlier, Gardevoir as possible, go as wide as possible, and then at some point down the line, get that big knockout.
Level ball. Expectation is another curlier, maybe.
Temple of Sinnoh is an interesting addition there, probably for the Lugia matchup, knowing that Lugia was on a tear over in Sacramento. But in this matchup, can be a viable way to disrupt too.
Yeah, additional uses across the meta. Those Fusion Strike energies being cancelled out because of the Temple of Sinnoh, potentially even the DTE being cancelled out.
Exactly. Sometimes can be beneficial. Get rid of that minus energy.
Very true. Increasing the damage output back up.
On this occasion, it will be there to slow down Öjvind. Just a little read of the block face. Check it in. Remembering how it works. I guess with the Temple of Sinnoh, I believe it will still count because there's still fusion energy, so it will still count the damage of them, but you just won't have the rainbow energy effect. So the Temple of Sinnoh doesn't block Slider.
Not completely.
Not completely.
But would need the water energy somewhere. There's a rare candy into a Gardevoir EX, I believe.
Yeah, that's the Gardevoir X on the bench.
Oh,
quite hard to knock out for a Mew VMAX deck, so it's normally quite safe, except for at that end game when you see the plethora of options. But we're going to see a Cresselia in the active here. What's the plan?
Maybe just to soften up some options there. You know, only 4 psychic Pokemon on Dario's side of the board now, so not enough to knock out the Meloetta, unless you use Cresselia's second attack.
So it's going to change that route to victory. We mentioned about the 2 big knockouts on the Mew VMAX as possible. You can also just go down a 1 prize, 2 prize, 3 prize route.
So in another different, interesting way to navigate the prize race. Removes the threats of the Meloetta with a Fusion Strike energy as well, making it even harder to stretch for the Gardevoir EX. Knockout with that Melodious Echo, dealing 280 damage if all 4 Fusion Strike energy were in play. It's only 1 tablet.
Okay, Manaphy into the active spot. Another advantage of using the Cresselia to attack is it protects the Gardevoir lines. You want to have as many of those in play in those big turns we're going for attacks, because you don't want your one Gardevoir EX to be knocked out and that be game done there and then. So you can see you've got a Routes ready to evolve, a Curlier ready to evolve, and the Gardevoir EX in play. So attacking with non-Gardevoirs is the key here. Zacian was an option, Cresselia is an option. Outside of that, it's going to have to be a Gardevoir.
Lost Vacuum being played to thin down the hand.
Very nice.
Had Battle VIP passes as a hand.
Guess keeping that for the Cramomatic as an option.
Correct, yeah.
Haven't seen any of them yet.
Very true. A card we've seen come to fruition for a lot of new VMAX players. Just grabbing any card should they flip the heads. Ultra Ball there, an easy way to get rid of them anyway.
I think we've all been there with the Cramomatics and had our bad days and our good days. I think it's one of those cards that realistically you're using it to thin your hand, and then if you get the effect, that's a great high roll. But early on, it can get you out of some sticky situations. There's one of them. Nothing to use it on, I don't think, in the hand. There's one, Ultra Ball. Let's see, will they get heads or tails? And that looks like a tails there, 3.
Yeah. Unfortunately, does reduce the hand size, but doesn't allow Öjvind to find the card he wants. First hand disruption card being played here by Öjvind's side of the board. They get that Fusion Strike energy attachment to Ice Cube as well. sort of prepping it. Didn't play down the Lost City.
No stadium's being played down yet. We saw that Temple of Sinnoh. We know there's going to be a collapse, as there typically is in the Gardevoir. Lost vacuums are the main way of bumping a stadium for Öjvind. But yeah, there's 2 workers, a Temple of Sinnoh and a collapsed on the side of Dario.
Forest Steelstone now coming down. Mew pivoting into the other Mew. Will we see a similar block slide attack? No, just a Max Miracle. Oh, of course, unable to block slide with Manaphy in play. Silly me.
Yeah, that Manaphy was a sacrifice in the active spot. Just
it was gusted up, wasn't it?
Gusted up. Well, yeah, with the escape rope.
Yeah.
It was a little switcheroony. Cresselia now looking to, again, be an attacker that's not a Gardevoir, but ideally, off the back of that Judge, I think we want to see Dario try and push for that first knockout, because you know there is a clock. Every turn, Öjvind is going to take a prize, and there will be that chance to take the Gardevoir EX out in 1 turn. So that's 2 prizes. So in theory, we might only see 3 more turns for Öjvind here. I think that at that point, you're going to start worrying about the fact no power tablets have been used. So that means the Gardevoir EX could not only be knocked out, but would then disrupt the game plan of Dario. So just trying to get through as much of the deck as possible, and it hasn't been particularly thin. There's not been a huge amount of refinement so far.
Yeah, it's not been the smoothest yet. Of course, still plenty of actions to go. Has used concealed cards to build the hand back up a little bit more.
I mean, at this stage of the game, that discard is not particularly full for a Gardevoir list. They typically motor through the deck as the refinement curliers start discarding, and even the Shining Arcana Gardevoir has not been in play yet, which is another great draw. Just been relying heavily on that Greninja to keep drawing each turn, and that 1 refinement curlier in play. That
Cresselia with the free energy as well sometimes can inhibit some of the plays that Dario could make. You know, you don't really want all the energies stuck on a Pokemon sometimes, as we do see the Shining Arcana come down. No Psychics to attach from that draw.
Needs a reversal energy too. It's going to be a bit of a reach otherwise, and this is probably going to be just a little bit of softening up done with this Cresselia. Maybe an Iono. Try and dig a bit further.
Is it needed right now? It's still a couple of turns to be able to handle just maybe 1 V and maybe one V max to take the final 5 prizes. That's the prize mapping right now.
There was an attachment there as well, so reversal energy not going to be an option. We're definitely seeing the slower Gardevoir game plan that is viable here in Mew. I mean, a lot of other matchups, you'd have a lot more pressure with the potential for spread, with like the Lost Box build, where they've got the Sableye, they can start taking multiple prizes sooner. You're always safe with Mew that you know that it's most likely just going to be 1 attack, 1 Pokemon knocked out per turn.
Manaphy being targeted from the Ultra Ball is big to stop that block slider attack coming down once again. Maybe forcing Öjvind to have to go through this Cresselia.
Releasing some energy too.
Correct. It's one way of doing it without using something like Collapse Stadium on your own.
Yeah, you kind of want to save the Collapse Stadium to maybe heal off something, or get rid of a Luminion that you had to put down.
Remove a 2-prizer when Öjvind only needs that final 2 prizes from a Guardi EX KO, for example.
No Luminion in the list, actually. That's something that's interesting here for Dario. That's one of the inclusions that we typically see in Gardevoir, to try and increase that consistency, finding the right supporter at the right time.
There's a Lost City. It is just the 110 damage on that Mew VMAX, so Öjvind maybe looking for an opportunity to gust something else up and put Dario on the back foot with a lost zoned Pokemon.
Some interesting decisions here. Ultra Balls are always good to hold in the hand, because you can really thin down your hand into something else. But we're going to start with the Cramomatic. That will decide what the plan is. Just a 1 there, so going to be only for the thinning on this occasion. So more draw here from the Genesect.
Draw 2 more. Roxanne, another 1 playable card. That Choice Belt, not too useful in this matchup here, until maybe targeting as Ashen V. Remember, Choice Belt not applicable against EX Pokemon.
We've also got to bear in mind with the board state for Öjvind, Psychic Leap is not possible until a knockout happens at this stage because both the Mews have evolved. So we're going to have to see that Mew VMAX with the 110 damage on it will stay in play.
Trekking Shoes can continue digging.
What are we seeing? Oh,
it's definitely a thinker.
Oh, I love a Trekking Shoe.
Trekking Shoes.
Oh, I love it when you get another Trekking Shoes off of Trekking Shoes.
Ah. There are two.
There are two shoes.
Hasn't found the boss. We'll have to deal with the Cresselia.
Just going to play for the tempo turn, I think, right?
Just got to keep going. Unfortunately, that Mew VMAX is damaged, though. Does have DT in hand, so can attach to the bench. Oh, I didn't see what that card was actually being played. Stand escape rope. It's the only way to bring up the Manaphy. Ice Cube attached with a double turbo energy attacks the active. Lost zones the Manaphy now. But Ice Cube is now in the active spot.
Very true. And it's got 110 HP, which is perfect for the Cresselia. But that doesn't really help the game plan of the 1 prize, 2 prize, 3 prize knockout. It will add another knockout in the journey. And at this stage, that would take too long to finish off this race.
Also means no more sniping of the benched Pokemon as well.
I think
unless
this
Dario
is very
chooses
smart, right?
to target something else. But Dario's scenario is he still needs to go through 2 big Vs and V maxes, right?
Exactly.
So
I
wants
think
to avoid.
That Ice Cube in the active is a smart play, just forcing them to have to gust around it. Because if you take out that active, it doesn't really do anything for the race for prizes.
Boss in hand, targets that Mew VMAX. Reversal activated right now, being 2 prizes behind. Doesn't have it yet in hand. Has 4 energy cards in the discard.
That'll be 5 with the retreat as well. So with the reversal and the energy in the discard.
Oh, it did have it in hand, my bad.
Oh, perfect. There's plenty of damage to be able to get this knockout. Won't even need to put all of the energy into play.
Yep, so Brainwave, 60 damage plus 30 for each psychic energy attached to the Gardevoir there. So currently 5 energies is 150 plus the 60 base. 320 damage will be done in total to this Mew VMAX and pushing Dario into a commanding spot.
Very unique situation here. I've been seeing that Cresselia soften up a Mew VMAX. You don't normally see that in this matchup. But Dario seeing a different route and now has just got to take 1 more knockout to win this game. It can be a Genesect, it could be a Mew V, it could be a Mew VMAX, whatever they want to go for. And this is where that big disruption turn needs to come through. We need to see things like Path to the Peak, Roxanne coming through. And starting off, we see the Roxanne. And I wonder how this is going to go for Dario. He's thinned a fair amount of his deck, but still plenty of dud cards in there that you won't want to see. On board, not much draw. This is going to be tough.
Just a Shining Arcana right now, but it's in the active spot. Öjvind will be looking for a way to knock out that Shining Arcana Gardevoir, leaving nothing capable of drawing cards on the board, which is what you typically would see on Dario's side.
And this is why you have to put a bit of disruption in the fusion build. You can't lean fully into the tempo of fusion. You do have to steal a turn back here and there. I see the Path in the hand as well. So Path will be able to go down.
Massive, holds on to some power tablets potentially as well. Does need an energy to attack with the Mew VMAX.
So just thinning down. I think he got rid of a Feather Ball and a Boss's Orders there, knowing that there's another boss in the deck. So just really trying to get to that energy now to guarantee the attack.
Yeah, 2 DTEs left in deck. 3 Fusion Strike systems available.
Might have to use the power tablets to thin at some point if he's really reaching.
It's that 3 cards in hand.
Can't play any of them.
1 power tablet. 2 Lost Vacuum.
Oh, all of the power tablets right now.
That's actually a really tough draw.
He's been holding on to those so he can finish on the Gardevoir EX. But if he has to hold them, he's not going to be able to get that final knockout on the Gardevoir EX.
Of all cards you can draw, I think that's what you wouldn't want to see. He's contemplating quadruple power tablet with the Ice Cube maybe now to try and take it down instead.
I don't think that's ever going to get close. At this stage, you've got the boss's orders coming through, but he's already used the Roxanne, so he's just using those. Oh, I see what you mean with the Ice Cube onto the active. Path of the Peak coming down, so he's going to have to go a slightly longer route here, but with the Ice Cube and the active, that takes away the easy knockout. A gust is required now.
Yeah, block slider dealing 40 for the fusion strategy, DT attached 20, and then adding up the 4 power tablets, an extra 120 there, more than enough to KO the Gardevoir and send it. Oh, actually no, of course, Path to the Peak's in play.
This is such a unique way this is ending here. Who'd have thought the 4 power tablets would be used to bump up a 20 damage block slider to knock out a Shining Arcana Gardevoir? We're in a unknown territory, let's put it that way. Both players having to work this out. And how has that Roxanne been for Dario? I saw an Ultra Ball, but that gets rid of the whole hand. It has to be for something useful.
I think I saw a top deck of, yeah, the Battle VIP pass there. So is there a Shining Arcana? That's potentially the only way of drawing cards right now.
Wow.
With that Curlier sat on the bench.
That is literally it. There's 2 Zacian in the deck, but needs to find a draw supporter. But what's left in the deck's not going to get you much draw. The Ionos at this stage only gives you 2 cards.
If you're Dario, you could start softening up maybe the Mew VMAX, just in case that ever pops up with the Cresselia, with Moonglow Reverse as well. Currently 2 Psychic Pokemon there with damage counters on it. Maybe just has to wait an extra turn.
Yeah, and that's where that block slider, you've set up a place where they need to gust around it. With the Path in play, you're just asking too many questions. Path, limited draw. We'll see what happens off of this. Just a level ball there. Not ideal.
There's a route. Gives future options if the Shining Arcana can continue to draw more. Double checks Moonglow Reverse. 40 damage. Could this be relevant to bring something like the Mew VMAX into range?
Blimey. Who'd have thunk it, eh?
270 HP remaining.
Honestly, this is just a fascinating place to be. And there's the boss's orders onto the routes, taking away more draw. That's more important at this stage. Also thins the hand out a bit. Now that they've used the power tablets, the Gardevoir X is not in range. And so we'll be copying, I assume not block side on this occasion, but the Icicle Missile to get that knockout there.
To be able 100 damage. Continue attacking, using big
20
attacks if necessary.
This is the turn right here. One more knockout needed for Öjvind. A few draws here and there for Dario to try and find a way to get this final knockout.
I didn't see the top deck, because I believe the level ball was in the hand from that Shining Arcana.
It was. So 2 draw off the Shining Arcana, the top deck to play with. If an energy comes through, that will give you a little bit more draw. If you can bump the stadium, Temple of Sinnoh, that will bump the stadium, so you can start using those abilities. Has that softening of the Mew VMAX put the Gardevoir on the bench in range as well? That's something to think about here.
Just doesn't feel like it's enough yet. Can put a maximum of 6 psychic energies down, so only dealing 240, I believe, with 180 with a 6.
Off this Shining Arcana, no energy.
Ooh, Iono. Temple of Sinnoh could potentially put up the Gardevoir EX as something that maybe can just attack with and tank a hit as well.
We've seen the 2 bosses being used.
Having to decide which route to take here. Doesn't look like there'll be a massive KO on this turn.
More draw with the worker.
Unless draws.
An energy.
Level ball again. Was he looking for a Zacian V maybe?
If he can get one more energy out the deck and get it discarded maybe. I mean, he can attach it from hand, but the one in hand he might look to use the concealed cards on.
Yep. We're going further.
Wow, that Cresselia softening up the Mew VMAX might have been the thing that wins him this turn. So we've got the retreat.
Going into the Shining Arcana.
Okay.
Is there enough? 1, 2, 3. There's 6 there.
And attach
7
from hand, and that's
1
it.
already. He does have it. That's more than enough. That's softening from the 40 or the Cresselia, able to put it in range, and Dario is able to really come back from a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, the Mew VMAX just in range there after the Moonglow reverse. That was a very unique route. We've never really seen a game like that between Gardevoir and Mew. Seeing the 4 power tablets to bump up that block slider before. And then, of course, right at the end there, that final few draws with the worker. The draw 3, turns out draw 3 is great. Got rid of the path of the beak as well, so there was a chance, if needed, off that draw 3 to use a concealed cast to dig deeper, but wasn't needed. So the attachment plus 6 from the discard plus the 1 that was already on it, it just shows
8
you.
in total, yeah.
Just shows you
just how powerful Psychic Embrace and the Gardevoir deck actually is. I got a feel for Öjvind. I mean, it was very unlikely to have hit that Lost Vacuum power tablet from the Genesect Fusion Strike system to 2 up to 6. Then just left with 4 power tablets, the path he eventually wanted to play, and the Vacuum, which at the end just not playable. So
no Chromatic heads as well, so a little bit unlucky. Oh
so we see both players put their prize down. Greninja on the right for Dario, but double Genesect V was working with 2 in game 1. But we go into game 2 of our Swiss round of 13 and day 2 Lille Regional Championships. Dario 1 game up.
Starting off with that trekking shoes, those power tablets. Is he going to try and hold on to them again because he's worried about the Gardevoir EX? Or we just start to thin him this time? And that first game took a while. That's the challenge with the Mew Guardy matchup. It does go down to those final turns and whether they get out disruption. So you have to play it the whole way out. You can never really know who's going to win until quite near the end. On this occasion, we'll be checking those prizes, realize the Ice Cube's gone. Only 2 Genesects to play with. Not too bad for Fusion Mew, but want to try and make it as wide as possible.
Yeah, both players at this round 13 on 28 points. Both players 9, 2, and 1 after already so many rounds being played from day 1 and day 2, fighting it out for a potential, push towards that top 8 berth.
It could be a tougher start here. We saw enough Pokemon there, but just trying to get as many routes as possible. That's the key.
It was just a pass after that Feather Ball and attachment, right, from Öjvind.
Yeah, not able to draw, not enough Pokemon down, 4 in hand. 3 supporters there on turn 1. Not ideal, but the VIP pass still pulling its work out.
Fog Crystal for the Mew, something you've highlighted already from game 1. Unfortunately was prized last time, but we'll be stretching through the deck for Battle VIP pass, I'm sure, as currently there isn't one in hand. Energy attachment will retreat. Iona as well, so a lot of digging involved.
I mean, that's the ideal situation. Post Iono getting a chance to look even deeper. If there's not a VIP pass in this hand, which it doesn't look like there is, there will be a chance to look even further with the Mew.
Yeah, essentially looking at 12 cards at the top of your deck to look for a Battle VIP pass. There is one, and a load of energies.
Sometimes you see people in that situation not even look at the rest and just take the VIP pass. But on this occasion, Dario just wanted to check in case different option came up.
A different flavor of Battle VIP pass.
Maybe he's got a special rare artwork that he wanted to put out.
Maybe an English one compared to the German one there being used.
One of the fun things over here in Europe, getting to see all the different languages on the cards and comparing them, especially with the characters. Some of them have some fun names in other languages.
Definitely. Double routes from the VIP. Is there much more you need to do?
No.
It's just a pass.
Lots of routes, that's what you need to do. We saw how easy it was at the end to really come back with a big few knockouts. I mean, typically, Mew VMAX in the format right now benefits from the fact it's a big Pokemon to knock out. Whereas for Gardevoir, it's very much in range, especially when you start including that reversal energy. Only 1 in Dario's list. Some lists at the moment playing 2.
Yep.
So as soon as you see that gone, it's over. You can't use it again. Whereas when it comes to those Psychic Energy at the end, there should be enough for a knockout with the 11 count of Psychic Energy, as long as you can fit it all on the Pokemon. And we see this more with the Zacian leaning builds, that they tend to take away 1 reverse energy to put that Zacian in. leaning to the Psychics.
Lost City coming down, Escape Rope as well. Just trying to thin his hand down a bit further. Choice Belt being played. One more card that could be played, but first Fusion Strike system for 2.
I think there's a new VMAX there too, which is perfect.
2 targets chosen for Alyssa Sparkle, that Meloetta and the Mew V.
Should be an attack coming off this turn.
And a lost zoned routes potentially here.
It's ideal, isn't it?
Got to reduce as many access to draw cards as much as possible.
But we did see in the hand Mirage Step Curlier.
They just have it all, don't they?
Always. I mean, you said it was going to be the deck that would do best here, and you're looking to be quite right.
It's just a very good deck.
I've never dabbled, personally.
Never dabbled.
No.
There it is.
Not smart enough for that.
Melodious Echo with the Lost City in play. One route's gone. Mew able to attack on the following turn as well. Didn't use Technoblast, of course. There it is. There's Mirage Step.
They always have the Mirage Step Curlier when they're low on routes, don't they?
Always well prepared. This is how Gardevoir is being showcased as a deck to just, you know, come back from being a position, being behind, getting the Curliers out, having the routes for future rare candy plays.
I mean, once you get motoring with this deck, you thin your deck very quickly, discarding and drawing, and the fact that you can get back the useful stuff that you discard a lot of the time does make it a pretty safe deck when it comes to the discard, where you see in the Lost builds, it's a lot scarier putting stuff in the Lost zone. So that Temple of Sinnoh could help disrupt this time, because the only stadium bouncers we see from Öjvind are the Lost City, which is just gone, and a Path to the Peak, which you don't really want to be putting a Path to the Peak down at this stage before the Gardevoir EX is in play, because it will disrupt you as much as it will disrupt them. Yeah,
we'll have to start digging for those lost vacuums instead. There are outs, but doesn't always have access to them. Doesn't yet. Plenty of cards to play, though. Some of those chromatics, which didn't go his way last game. I think it's cram for a cram.
Surely.
Looks
there
like a hair stretch for the deck there.
Okay, I think that looked like a boss, maybe? Because at the moment, Mirage Step Curlier is not your main target. You're not too worried about that. You want to be getting rid of the draw engine with those.
Oh, it's Avery. Shay's there just celebrating, I'm sure, having heard that Avery's come down. Manaphy gone.
Oh, I love that. That's why the Avery's in there, for this exact moment.
Yeah, which Mew's going to be evolved up. Would have loved a bit more value from the Avery. Of course, if maybe the Mew or the Manaphy was in the active spot.
Yeah, and then the escape rope there is quite clever, because the only option is to put a refinement up. So you're getting rid of all the support with the Mew and the Manaphy. You're getting rid of one of the refinement Curliers, and you're forcing the Mirage Step to stay in play. So you've got some benefits to that, but I believe there's some Gardevoir in the hand of Dario. So he's going to be able to evolve that Mirage Step one nice and quickly.
Another Melodious Echo. Temple of Sinnoh.
Yeah, because they act as colorless energy.
Yeah.
It will mean that the attack cost of Cross Fusion Strike is just 2 colors, so that's fine. And the text reads for the amount of Fusion Strike energy in play. And the Temple of Sinnoh doesn't take away the name of the energy, it just takes away the effect.
Well done. Thank you very much. Great explanation.
Thank you.
And the best way of doing it.
I've been in that situation before. That's the only reason why I've heard a judge say that exactly to me.
Okay.
And I repeat it verbatim for you guys at home.
This is what we're here for, making sure we're all as well informed as possible. Worker now coming down, taking out his own stadium.
That didn't work.
Don't need it anymore. As you said, a number of options in the hand. Still a couple of refinements available as well. Fog Crystal first.
Yeah, going to need to start getting more Gardevoir lines again with that routes, because another knockout on a Curlier or a Gardevoir could really start to thin down that ability to use Gardevoir EX, because the moment a Gardevoir EX gets knocked out, you need to be able to instantly replace it with either a routes that can rare candy up into it or a Curlier that's ready to evolve. So going as wide as possible with the Gardevoir, because it's looking likely they're going to have to attack with one this turn, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, need to start chaining some of those evolution pieces here. Just double checking the energy counts in the discard right now. Just the 3, including the 1 attached to the current active Curlier. Does have reversal energy in hand, so just double checking. So the 3 in the hand, plus the 4 that are currently on the boards is 7.
See both Gardevoir available in the hand there, so likely going to try and get a Shining Arcana Gardevoir into the active, and then evolve one of the benched into a Gardevoir EX. If an energy comes off of the Shining Arcana, that could be enough, I think. Ooh, there is one.
Does need to hit 7 in total, plus the reversal. So it has the 1 energy attached, the Psychic Embrace for 120 damage to itself from the ability, and then reversal.
This is tough.
To stretch, right?
And we've used the worker already this turn, so no more supporters.
Just got to think about future turns as well.
Maybe just go for the soften up. Just the three Psychic Energy. Force a Psychic Leap play.
Lots of decisions to be made in the Gardevoir deck. One of the reasons why it's such a difficult deck to pilot perfectly.
Yeah, you often feel like you get away with stuff with it, but when you see the top players playing it, every decision is made for the exact outcome you'll see maybe 2-3 turns later. You know, those energy attachments earlier, every Shining Arcana energy attach.
Just a Psychic attachment from hand, so no reversal energy this turn.
So it's 1 energy short, I believe. So there's 3 in the discard there. Well, I guess because there was an attachment from hand of the Psychic, it was technically 2. The reversal would need to be attached. Yeah, we're seeing here in round 13 of Lille Regional, 2 of our top players, most successful players here at the tournament so far on 9-2-1, looking to try and stretch into the lead, get that 10th win would be huge. And right now, Dario's the only one who's probably going to be able to do that with the amount of time left. But Öjvind looking to make it a draw, keep adding points into that total as we have 15 rounds of Swiss here, and we're currently in round 13, so there's 2 more after this. So both very much in a good spot no matter the result.
The judge path there coming down for Öjvind. Quite potentially a big play here, try and limit what's currently in Dario's hand. Immediately sends up the Mew VMAX. Melodious Echo once again taking a knockout on the Gardevoir, leaving Dario with just 2 Curliers and 1 Rouse.
Yeah, and at this stage, Iono would be very effective because there's so many prizes left for him, all 6, 3 on the other side. So we'll be able to use that to help draw through the deck as well. So whether you do that pre or post refinements, I assume you'd want to save those refinements for afterwards, but we'll leave that to the experts to show us how to do it. Liverpool
not finding anything here, just to double check, shuffle along the deck once again.
Downside of an Iono is you then lose access to one of your stadium bounces in a worker. Deck plays 2 worker, a collapse and a temple, so the only way you get rid of that path would be through a collapsed stadium. Okay, Iono.
Plenty of draw cards still, so we'll see on top of the 6 that Dario will see from this Iono, an additional 4 cards from the refinements.
First card he saw was a collapse there, so Path to the Peak should be bumpable at this stage, and a Gardevoir X in hand. Just needs an attacker at this point.
Access to more energy.
That'll probably be the one that goes. Do you get a big attacker off of this? There's no big attackers.
Triple Iono now in hand from that refinement.
Yeah, none of them are big attackers. So at this point, you've not got the ability to knock out the Mew VMAX. So even if you bump that stadium and you put energy in play, it's not going to be able to knock out a Mew VMAX. So I think it's going to have to be a pass.
Yeah, just a pass. Potentially having to give up this Curlier. Öjvind just drawing and announcing attack, going down to 2 prizes. Now, in the same scenario as in many other feature matches, 2 attacks away from tying up this series.
Potentially even just the 1. If the Gardevoir X comes into play, then power tablets haven't been used yet. There's 2 in hand. could start thinking about reaching for that. Of course, the Path to the Peak's still in play, but you know, the Path to the Peak has to be bumped by Dario at some point anyway, so that should help out Öjvind to get that final knockout.
Yeah. There's an Ultra Ball finally. That could have been one of those cards for a big attacker. There's Gardevoir EX in the active spot now.
My goodness, you haven't got the ability to gust if you Iono. This is where that Luminion would have been, you know, it's easy to say in hindsight. I know the path's in play, but bump that Stadium Luminion, that's why a lot of people play it. But on this occasion, a Luminionless build of Gardevoir, Shiny Arcana will allow for some more draw, but needs to find that gust to get that knockout on the Mew VMAX and hope that the return knockout on the Gardevoir EX isn't there, I think. Yeah,
that's potentially one way to remove the Fusion Strike energies from the game. We know Melodious Echo is still in play right now. Like we said before, 4 Fusion Strike energies will equate to 280 damage, leaving just 1 power mod away.
And Mew goes, leaving both Mew VMAX in play. Dario needs to knock out back-to-back Mew VMAX, and it will be the Iono here. So needing to find a Zacian off the back of this to knock out the active Mew VMAX, but then the counter knockout would come through, so has to be a reach with that Shiny Arcana. The reversal energy still in deck, right?
Yeah, a few options here. We'll have to attack with a single prizer. Doesn't want to leave that Gardevoir EX in the active spot. Shining Arcana. Maybe there's an option there to attach.
Okay.
Makes it easier to retreat. Doesn't want to put damage counters on it for a gust play.
Wow, yeah, you can see in there 2 Psychic Energy and a reversal. So we mentioned before the maths that's needed for the reversal, so it'd be reversal plus 7 Psychic Energy, right?
Maybe a bit more, I believe. 7 times 30 is 210, plus 60 is 270. Mew VMAX needs 310, so 2 more energies on top.
Oh, I include the reversal in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Perhaps is it then 6 energy plus the reversal, isn't it? Yeah, there
so
we
9
go.
total.
Which would be what's needed here, but an attack with the Gardevoir EX?
Just saying, if you have the power tablets, then that's game, but there's 1 already from the top deck. Just needs a Fusion Strike energy, or is it 1 more?
I mean, you got
there's a Fusion Strike
Ultra Ball as well to be
just
able
needs to attach.
There we go.
There you go. 4 Fusion Strike energy, 310 damage. Oh, actually, well, it has to go into the Meloetta, of course, because of the DTE.
And there we go. That's
it. Öjvind is able to tie up the series. I think that's exactly how he would have expected game 1 to have hopefully have gone.
Yeah,
but some awkward moments meant
slower
that
game, wasn't it? A little bit slower. Both games have been, you know, quite calm, and obviously in that one, Öjvind was mostly just announcing attack once the tempo was up. And that's ultimately it. Mew just has to tempo it.
Yeah, and just Dario wasn't able to get going as well as he did in game 1, being able to just kind of return KOs at the right time with the right Pokemon. So it does mean this series is currently tied up.
We got a little bit of time, just a little bit.
Just a little bit of time. Never know what can happen. If Dario chooses to go first, does mean knockout. There's that option.
There's always an option. There's a few decks that can attack going second. You got Mew VMAX and all the lost variants as well as Miraidon. Outside of that, not many decks can. So this is definitely a favoured situation for a Mew deck because Gardevoir takes a bit more time to set up, so it's unlikely to get an early knockout. So with 3 minutes approximately on the clock, if they set up quickly enough, we might see 3 or 4 turns, and that could get a result here.
In this scenario, does Dario choose maybe to protect the tie, maybe choose to go second, has access to maybe a supporter then as well to dig a bit further?
I mean, this is what we've spoken about with the decks that are good at the moment that sometimes struggle. Gardevoir EX has a really good matchup spread, but then it just struggles at finishing off games because games take a lot longer for it. So you're often going to go into that game 3, and then you know it has to go the distance most of the time. So it really puts it on a tough clock. And so we often see a lot of good players scooping very quickly if it doesn't go well for Gardevoir EX. On this occasion, Mew, you have to go the distance, otherwise you might miss the opportunity to win.
Yeah, this tie would currently take both players after round 13. If it stays like this, to a 9-2-2 record, 29 points each. But yeah, let's have a quick look at those prizes.
I think there was 2 mulligans.
3 psychics
Dario.
on Dario's side, leaving him with 8 basic psychic energy.
Okay,
2 mulligans. Who's starting and kicking things off? Dario does draw. Does have Battle VIP pass.
What a
We're
dream.
safe.
What a dream. So that's going to bring out some routes. Start getting as wide as possible. I think there's an Ultra Ball in hand too. So we'll see if that works out. On the other side, Öjvind got 2 mulligans off the back of that. So a lot of cards in hand, which is sometimes not ideal for you because you want to thin that hand down as much as possible. So if you mulligan cards that aren't going to be playable, it might not work out. But I do see a Battle VIP pass in there in that hand. And as we mentioned about the power tablets before, I'm sure he's not going to worry about saving them for that final knockout here with a shorter game.
No, just apply your pressure as soon as possible. Cause and wreak havoc on the God of War side of the board where possible as well. There's the NG attachment retreat into the Mew, akin to game 2. Just that stretch for another Battle VIP pass maybe.
It's always really good going first if you can get the Mew off, isn't it?
Just a level ball. And straight for the routes that was in the top 6 as well.
Just a bit more efficient, faster routes. And I think this is going to be a tough one to get a result in because both players are going to be setting up solidly. At this stage, Dario doesn't know that Öjvind has cards in hand to set up nice and wide. You know, you could very well just say pass, you know, that's a real scenario. But
just with the hand action there, as you just mentioned, Battle VIP pass as well. 30 seconds on the clock.
I mean, there's also, you know, at this stage of the tournament, both players really want a result, but if they recognise at this stage it's unlikely to go the distance, they might call it early, which they do here, and it's going to be a draw. Öjvind and Dario drawing it here on the feature table, putting them onto that 9-2-2 record. Still an amazing position to be, but on this occasion, not able to finish the game and giving them a little bit of a break going into round 14.
Yeah, and I think after that kind of match where every little piece mattered, every time a draw card happened, it impacted how the game was going to flow. Like I said, that game 1 where Öjvind had to ended up hitting his 4th power tablet from that Fusion Strike system. Not what you would have expected, just needed one of his 2 DTEs to start swinging away. But, you know, Dario was able to take game 1, Öjvind with game 2. 29 points, still in a good position.
100%. I mean, both of them looked really good out there as well, playing very smart, going through those unusual routes, and that's what we speak about with these top players. They're able to spot the routes that aren't typical, and that's when we saw it yesterday with Stefan, the God of War list. None of us could see the route he took, and then suddenly you're like, hang on, there's a way he can win here. And that same thing was true in that game. You know, that first game was so scrappy and unorthodox, but just that little bit of damage from the Cresselia was enough to put the Mew VMAX in range, and it's those tiny little decisions that separate the best from the rest.
Yeah, and there's 2 more rounds for them to still put themselves both into the top 8.